Good day and welcome to Monday Momentum. This particular episode is called Winners Never Quit and Quitters Never Win. This is a very obvious statement, and yet so many people struggle with this, and myself included. I'm going to tell a story about myself personally. So, in 2004, when I first got into this coaching business, I made a large investment with a franchise company and I also had to pay them a significant amount of money every month, and as well as 5% of any revenue that I booked or banked. And so the first year I was so excited about this whole thing about becoming a business coach and working with this big franchise and learning everything I needed to learn in order to help business owners scale up their businesses, help business owners free up time and make more money, all that kind of stuff. And then that first year, I banked a total of $30,000. Of almost 20,000 of that went to the franchisor. As you can imagine, that created a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear, and created a lot of doubt. But I was reminded that, as I said, winners never quit and quitters never win. So I persevered, went on to the next year to do 80,000, the year after that, 150,000, and then got up to the 250,000 mark, give or take a little bit over the next decade or so. So the reality is that, as I said, I could have quit, went back to my job, which paid me a large amount of money, and also gave me a lot of vacation time. But I was committed, and I don't quit on things once I start something. So here's the reality of you and your business. You're going to hit walls. You're going to sometimes feel frustrated. You're going to be fatigued, and doubt and fear are going to creep in. But I got to tell you, winners don't stop there. As it says, winners never quit and quitters never win. It's not because winners are particularly smarter than someone who quits. In fact, could be quite the opposite, because lots of people who are really successful in business, if in terms of schooling or anything like that, lots of times they have a lot less schooling than some people, and those people quit. The ones that uh, are more educated, if I can call it that. So, and it's not about luck. It's really about perseverance. Uh, and really because they stick in there for the long game. They stick in there long enough to win. So there's a story that I read a long time ago, and it's called 3 Feet from Gold. And basically, the story is that there was a miner who owned a gold claim, and over a decade or so, he mined this claim, and made a money, not a lot of money, but enough money to make it worthwhile for him to continue mining for gold. And then he hit a dry spell. I don't know if it was a year or 2 years or whatever amount of time it was that he hit this dry spell. Uh, but he didn't find any gold for the longest period of time. Never reached out for help, never asked anybody any questions or anything, and then decided to sell his claim. And so he sold the claim to another miner, and that miner quickly hired a geologist, and the geologist did some sampling and testing and all that kind of stuff, and found out that literally this guy was 3 feet from a vein of gold that was worth millions of dollars. So your dream potentially is worth millions of dollars. Uh, just refuse to give up, refuse to quit. But don't keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Do something, try something different. Uh, Learn. You need to. One of my mentors said, the only place that learn comes before earn is in the dictionary. If you want to earn more, you need to learn more. So, um, I'm going to just remove this out of the way here so that you can pause the video at this particular moment and just answer these questions. So when you look at back in times when you stopped or slowed down, what was the real reason, not the surface reason? So don't go with that first thing that come up. Sit down and think about this. This is really, really, really important. What would have kept you going in those moments? What support, belief system, or mindset would have changed that outcome? And then the last question: the next time you hit that same wall, what are you committed you can make or do, or pardon me, to yourself or in the future to stay in the game long enough to find that vein of gold? So just pause the video and answer those questions for yourself. Here's an important thing to remember. Uh, Fear creates doubt and anxiety, and potentially that's what causes you to quit. So we need to find a way to manage that fear, because that fear is real. It's not something you just imagined. Well, I guess you are imagining, because the acronym fear is false expectations appearing real. So it is imagined, but it's real inside your body. So you need to find tools to get out of that fear. So one of them is meditating. Meditate every day. I would say meditate multiple times a day. Doesn't have to be a long period of time, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Somebody said, if you're busy, no, how did that? If you're busy, meditate for 10 minutes. If you're really busy, meditate for an hour. Or become mindful. Another thing is to write in a journal. I have journals. I journal all the time. And then the other thing is to create questions that take your focus away from what's going on subconsciously to something that you're consciously asking yourself. So, what is it that is causing me to react right at this particular moment? Is it real, or is it something that I'm just imagined? Uh, or what could I do today that would move me forward and past this? Or what could I focus in on? Because you've all heard this before: where you put your attention is where the energy goes. And unfortunately, because we're so unconscious in a lot of ways that we view life and take on life, we oftentimes get into a loop of, there's a thought and then a feeling, a thought and a feeling. So that feelings are the language of the body and the words are the language of the mind. The challenge is that uh, every single day we have somewhere between, I don't know, 70, 80,000 different thoughts that are going on unconsciously, just below the surface. They're not like screaming at you. They're not like visible. They're not like you can, oh, I can see or think or feel what or you can feel it, but you can't really put words to what it is that you're thinking. And those thoughts that we have today are the same thoughts we had yesterday, the week before, the month before, the year before. And that's why oftentimes people's lives just go on rinse and repeat, or the Groundhog Day. So ask yourself questions to get you out of the loop. And as I said, do some meditating or mindfulness, journaling, all that kind of stuff. That will be helpful for you. And you may, as you're answering these questions, actually begin to experience what I'm talking about. So this week's challenge is pick one thing that you've been avoiding, a tough conversation with somebody, or a system you need to implement into your business, a decision that you've been delaying, or a habit you've been putting off. And I always think about habits, and I read this, and I can't remember the name of the book. I should look it up. It's sitting in my bookshelf back here. But the author of the book said the best way to create new habits is to replace old habits. So if you have an old habit that's not serving you well, like doom scrolling, or sitting there ruminating on worst possible outcomes, replace that with a new habit, which could be watching a podcast that uh, enlightens you, educates you, helps you learn and grow. So replace bad habits with good habits. So consistently beats intensity. I know some of my clients over the years. One of the things that it's just like, I just got to work harder. I just got to work harder. It's no, you don't have to work harder. You have to work smarter. You have to get off the hamster wheel. Listen, it doesn't matter how fast you run on a hamster wheel. You're never going to get to the finish line. And that's the way a lot of my clients in the past have. And I know there's lots of people out there that are feeling that very same sort of hamster wheel feel. Doesn't matter how fast you get going, you got to work smarter, and it takes some effort. It takes a lot of thinking. It takes a lot of time to decompress, decode what it is that's actually going on, and learning something new so you can create something new in the future. Um, I just wrote an article on this and I put it on LinkedIn and on my Facebook page in relationship to, this, your mind is uh, really, really good at creating the same thing that it did yesterday and the day before and the week before and the month before, as I talked about earlier. Your mind is really good at doing that. And so the results that you have in your business are a direct reflection of what's going on inside your mind. And if you're thinking, I'm really happy and excited with the results that I'm getting in my business or in my life or whatever, then don't change a thing. Well, I say don't change a thing, make incremental changes. But if you're not happy with where you're at in your business and your life, then it's time to really rewire your brain, and that takes effort. And if you're following me, you can check my YouTube channel out. Uh, More videos on my YouTube channel. You're going to find lots of things that are going to help you reprogram your brain for success. So you don't need to be perfect. You just need momentum. So in closing here, make this week count. You've got this. Why? Because it's my time. Repeat that to yourself when you need to. Look in the mirror and say, why? Because it's my time. Thanks for listening. I'm Laurie McNaughton, your Scale Up Business Coach. Oh, I never say this. They tell me I should be saying this all the time. Please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It helps me reach more people, which is my goal in life, is to outreach to a lot more small business owners and help them create something that really helps them build a beautiful lifestyle for themselves rather than takes over their life. Take care. Have yourself a great day, and thanks for listening.